We're live. All right. So here I'm going to talk to Dr. Bradie Crandall, a former Arnold Pro-Am competitor at the 105 class, world world competitor for naturals, right?
Yep.
And we're talking about Natural USA. This is the first competition where drug-tested athletes can compete at strongman for the USA title. So how do you feel about the competition? What do you feel about the events? We'll kind of get started with how you feel about the show.
Yeah, I mean, first off, it's just been so cool to watch the Natural Strongman Federation grow so much in these last few years. I mean, they've been growing really quick in Europe, where they're based out of, but now we're actually getting a true nationals in the US, whereas before we just had regional competitions that fed into worlds. But now they'll truly have a regionals that feeds into nationals, feeds into worlds, feeds into things even beyond that, the champions of champions comp for the guys that win worlds to compete against each other. So it's really cool. And I think they're getting like a push-pull log deadlift competition now set up as well,
Nice.
like a natural static monsters. So yeah, they're growing super quick. And it's really just, you can see that there's been a need for it in the sport just by how many people have signed up now for natural nationals. I think this year especially, people are like really starting to take them seriously. Especially after last year and seeing how many like really great performances there were, and Angelica Jardine participating at Natural Worlds, like seeing people that compete in these top level pro shows now, like it owes a lot of credibility to the federation. So it's been really cool to see. And yeah, I'm super pumped for Natural Nationals. I feel like I have a bit of a redemption arc in progress. I did not make weight at Worlds, which is unfortunate. I had a lot of personal stuff going on, and tried to come in a bit too heavier than I probably should for my first international comp. So tried to come in about 15 pounds over and then water cut down. That's really pushing the limits for me. So I'm not doing that again for this show. I'm playing it a little more conservative. Only planning to do I did like a bit of a mini cut after Worlds. So now I sit around like 238-ish.
Oh, that's an easy cut.
Yeah, it should be a nice easy cut, a nice easy water cut. And honestly, like looking at a lot of these events, I didn't see a huge advantage for coming in super heavy for most of these. So
yeah, it's very endurance.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to come in lighter because we'll get into the events a little bit, but things like an axis and sandbag carry, you obviously don't want to have a lot of excess weight for it. That's going to be a big disadvantage.
Yeah, completely agree, especially when you feel like you're going to puke halfway through that event.
And I have puked the first time I did that event, which was at PA Dutch in 2023. I won the event, won the comp, but I did go vomit immediately after the max distance sandbag carry. It was not pleasant.
Yeah, it was a 375-foot carry for the same weight you have registered for USA's, right?
I'll be honest, I don't remember my exact distance. I thought it was. I think
it was around 350 to 375.
Oh,
it was somewhere around there.
Okay. Yeah. And if it's the same weight or slightly lighter, I actually don't remember. But yeah, it's a brutal event.
Your comp weight's 275, so it shouldn't be too heavy for you.
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy carry for you.
Yeah. So we'll kind of run through the events in order. But first up, we have this axle clean and press for reps. With the trump bar. The lighter bar, I think, was like 240. Heavier bar is 280. I feel really good about this event. I think it's mine to lose. My pressing has been a weakness for a while, but especially axle, I've just improved so much that I haven't lost an axle event in a competition yet. So I won this event at Worlds. It was a max axle. And I've won axle per rep events at Mr. America. So I feel pretty good about this. I feel pretty good about cranking out some reps. There's a pretty stacked lineup, and to be honest, I don't know all these names super well, so there could be some crazy pressers in there I don't know about. But with a minute, that only allows you to get out so many reps with the trump bar, and it's really just going to come down to like speed and efficiency if there's some really good pressers in this lineup. I know Josh is also a great presser. I think I have a bit of an edge on him, but
a lot of grip too, right? To like if a guy's gonna because you double overhand your axle.
I do double overhand, which is actually a big advantage for if you're really going to be cranking out reps. That extra split second adds up over each rep when you have to get it up to the belt, swap the grip. I can just pop right to the belt, right to the shoulder, and press from there.
Yeah, for me, I catch it on the flip, so it kind of saves me a little bit of time. But
yeah, if you can catch it on the flip like that, yeah. I mean, efficiency is going to play a big role here. I mean, there'll be people that probably can't get 280, honestly, and then there'll be people who can really rep 280 out. So I think we'll see this will be a big differentiator right off the bat.
Yeah,
and then from there, we have the deadlift ladder. I feel okay about this event. We'll see. I mean, 635 is very doable for me for that last lift. I've no doubt I'll hit it. It's just a question of how many reps I'll be able to get. You know, I look at Joshua as kind of my major threat throughout this comp, and we have kind of we're good friends. We have a good rivalry going a little bit. I beat him at the East Coast qualifier. It was close, but I edged him out. And then at Worlds, you know, he was probably just a bit ahead of me, but you know, I also didn't make weight and had some mental things going on. So I could still compete as an exhibition lifter. So I could still kind of stack myself up a bit, but it's hard to have that edge when you know you're competing for nothing at that level.
I mean, you still showed that you deserve to be there. So
yeah, definitely. And that was really my goal.
I don't see you not earning a Worlds invite, especially with how big the groups are.
Yeah. And I think like when you think about the population density and where there's the most strong guys and top competitors, it is on the East Coast in strongman, honestly. Yeah. So like East Coast, if like I was able to win East Coast, that should position me pretty well to take on nationals and place well. And I mean, yeah, I do feel like this comp is mine to lose. In the deadlift ladder, there could be some threats in here. I believe you're coaching a guy with the powerlifting background coming in that's pretty strong.
Yeah, Cole Dunning, he's going to probably be top 3 on the deadlift, and that's
he's a major threat. No, I believe that he is a solid deadlift. I mean, any powerlifter that is a good powerlifter coming in here, like this is a great event for them. And you know, there's definitely some challenges there, like having a powerlifting background, like that there's some mental hurdles, right? Yeah, you can't spend forever with your setup when you're on the clock, and a lot of powerlifters that might throw them off a bit. But yeah, other than that, like, yeah, it is a lot of reps, more reps than we used to, but you know, we're going to see. I think between him and Josh, it could be anyone's ball game. I think Josh beat me by just a rep at Worlds on the axle deadlift for reps. You know, part of the reason I blame that on is I didn't line up my hands properly, so I was pulling crooked the whole time.
And they weren't marked, right? Or they were marked with like black tape or something like that?
They were marked, but the markings were too far away from where my hands are. And if just by a little bit, like that can matter when the weights get heavy.
Yeah.
But I don't think that won't be a problem on the deadlift ladder. The first axle is pretty light, and then from there you have a standard deadlift bar at the ends, which is easy to line up on. So yeah, that's, you know, I haven't really. I'm just kind of starting to get into my like heavy deadlift work, and you know, it takes a long time for me to ramp into like peaking for a deadlift. So yeah, I'm honestly not quite sure how many reps I'll get at this point. I can't even really speculate.
It just depends on how good you feel that day for the most part, right?
Yeah, and it can vary a lot. Like some guys might be, I think I'll be fine after the axle clean and press, but some guys might be beat up a little bit. And then from there we get into sandbag to shoulder. And again, this is going to be a big, you know, I hope to crank out some reps here. I'm really comfortable in this entire weight range for the sandbag to shoulder. I've actually never competed in a sandbag to shoulder event, but I've been training it a lot and feeling really good about my technique and my efficiency. Yeah, I know I can handle these weights fine. Actually, haven't even got the chance to get a 300-pound sandbag yet, but I'll have that in soon. So I've been training actually all the way up to like 335, and I know if I can move that pretty well and efficiently, I can handle 300 no problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel good about this event as well. And then yeah, we get into the max distance sandbag carry. Again, this is a really gritty event. This is going to be really brutal. I think conditioning is going to come into play a lot here, not only just as a standalone event, but after doing a deadlift and a sandbag to shoulder for reps, you're going to be dead. Like everyone's going to be burnt here. So
we're hoping that's the order.
Yeah, I don't know. They could switch up the order. I have a feeling this will be the actual order of the events.
I'm actually going to talk to Cooney about stuff like that. So
yeah,
we'll have an interview with him later about event details. So
yeah, knowing him and knowing how the comp was run for East Coast, I believe this will be the actual event order.
Nice.
I could be wrong. Yeah, and I think this order makes sense.
It does, because having yoke after, but like not having it in between like the deadlift and the sandbag to shoulder, it won't fry up your back too much at that point.
Yeah, and sandbag to shoulder, I really think this is me or Josh's game here. Like he's super efficient with sandbags, and really really solid working around those implements. So we'll just see what it comes down to. I'm honestly not sure. Then yeah, the max distance sandbag carry. I feel pretty good about this event. My hope is to place well enough that I will get to go last on this event. That's the best strategy I can hope for. I know I can win if I go last. If I end up earlier in the lineup for some reason, it could be tricky. If I get to go last, I'm pretty confident I can win this event.
Is he going to change the lineup order after each event placing?
That's another question I don't know the answer to. But I signed up first for the comp, so if he doesn't, I'm in a good spot.
That's a really good spot to be in, especially for the press, because then you're going to save a lot of energy for your deadlift.
Yeah, that was my idea. I looked at these events and it was like immediately like, okay, placement is going to matter a lot here to figure out how many reps I need, how far I need to go. For the first 4 events, really, it matters a lot.
There's a lot of good athletes this year, like even throughout all the weight classes, but especially in the 105s, the talent spread is pretty deep.
Yeah, and this is where like the little things can end up making a big difference when there's like this many guys that I'm sure are fairly competitive. An extra rep could make or break your placement on the podium,
or even just being a second faster on like the yoke, or going a foot further on the sandbag. It matters more now.
And yoke, I mean, that's my bread and butter. Again, this is mine to lose. As long as I have a smooth run and don't drop it, I'm confident I'll win this event. It's I think 725 for 70 feet. I'll have no problem with that weight, and should be pretty quick. And I've started my yoke training recently, and it's going great. Yoke has felt better than ever, so I'm super confident about this event, especially without having to turn back around. It's just 70 feet straight. So that's a pretty long runway to build some speed. And then we end with Farmer's Hold, which I'm not thrilled about as an event, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of these like grip events, unless it's like
a tiebreaker. Yeah,
unless it's a tiebreaker or it's like a 2-day comp and they just need some extra events that aren't going to kill everyone. I mean, I struggled with this at Worlds on the Hercules Hold. This was my worst placing event. I mean, I say struggle, but it was middle of the pack. And I mean, these grip events are just, they can change things up a lot. So the other thing I'm not thrilled with is being like the last event of the comp, to where like you could have the standings just completely change like very easily from this Farmer's Hold event. But again, this is where I think it's going to matter a lot to come in a good lineup spot, to know what the guys ahead of you are doing. Because just being able to hold on for an extra second is, anybody that's done one of these max hold time events, anybody can hold on for just one more second, if they need to. But it's a big mental game if you have to go first to know like how long you need to hold it.
And then holding as long as humanly possible at that point too.
Yeah. And I've realized like the key for me on this event too is, for any of these max hold or max time events, like I need a clock in front of me. So I'm going to make sure like I have that right in front of me. Or like I'll just get in my head too much. Like I need to have like a goal in my head of how long I want to hold it. And I'm not going to share that goal here. I'm starting to figure out what that goal time will be. So if I set that time in my head, same thing with like a sandbag for distance. If I have that, rough distance in my head of what a good goal is, I know I can hit it. Whereas if I just didn't have that and I was just going off feel, you start to panic as soon as things start to hurt. Where in my training, if I know that, I can hit this, then I'll hit it and then try to push past it. So my strategy on like training Farmer's Hold is I've been, I started at a pretty manageable time. In every training session, I've been just adding, 5 seconds or so to each session. And then I'll start to throw in probably some more grip work throughout the week on top of that soon here. So yeah, that's kind of been my approach. I think training is going well so far. The only thing I think is the biggest question mark for me that I haven't really trained super heavily into yet is deadlift, but I'm just going to start to get into that to feel out, how many reps I feel like I can get in this ladder. But yeah, other than that, I'm really happy with these events, and it should be a really interesting comp. I think if I can show up, be consistent, and execute, it really is mine to lose. So we'll see how it goes. And I certainly want to make a big return to Worlds and then I have to do well in this comp to do that.
What do you think about not having split times? Because I don't think any of these are scored on split times except for yoke completions, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could work in my favor because what happens there is, you know, if I can go last and get one more rep, and then the people behind me are all tied at like 3 or 4 reps or something, that's huge. Like that could win the comp right there just from one event, and you can get, you know, a multiple point lead over the guy behind you. So being able to like pull that off and just one of these events could be the deal breaker.
Because there's going to be a lot of people tying mid pack and possibly third.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm in favor of it as long as it works in my favor, essentially. But yeah, and I know it just makes it easier comp to run, easier to score. So yeah, I'm not opposed to that idea.
Makes it easier on the volunteers too, in case people who don't run shows are listening. But
yeah.
if you do split times and for whatever reason that judge or the timer just misses that click by like even 2-3 seconds, you've essentially screwed that athlete without even knowing.
And I mean, I've seen like these split times come down to like margin of errors, like split seconds that, you know, your time on your hand reaction on the stopwatch just is within that margin of error. So it's really hard. And I think I talked to this to Cooney last year, because this happened on an event with me where I think I was within like 0.05 seconds or something of Josh on an event. And it didn't end up mattering for the outcome, but I talked to him like, hey, like in the future, like you need to be aware of what the margin of error is for using a stopwatch and just tie someone if that happens. Because there's like literally studies on this about how quick and how accurate you can actually be with a stopwatch. And there's a certain amount of human error that's tolerable.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason why they're starting to use like laser timers and stuff like that.
Yeah, like we saw at the Rogue, like they have the button, right? Like there's no cheating that. Like there's no.
Well, there is cheating.
Yeah, but
that's a whole other conversation at that point.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Yeah.
It does take away the volunteers or the judges' stress on making a mistake, which could inevitably happen.
Yeah. So hopefully we start to see more of that when they start to use those, you know, those split seconds start to matter. But I think ideally people try to design events where that doesn't matter and there's enough variation and it's split between the guys. But that doesn't always, you know, as an organizer, that doesn't always happen. But that's what you want to see, is a nice spread.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you. I mean, I feel like these events are particularly heavy enough where you're going to see the talent spread.
Yeah, like I think there'll be
people that do the axle and the deadlift. Like,
yeah, there'll be people that don't hit the Trump axle. There'll be people that don't get that last deadlift. There'll be people that don't get the last sandbag, can't finish the yoke. And then there'll be people that are just crushing it.
There's guys that aren't going to get past the second deadlift.
Yeah.
You know, like realistically.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if they're not training the medley.
Yeah. And I think one interesting thing about like the Natural Strongman Federation too is, you know, you definitely see less static strength amongst these guys. But I think I talked to you about this at Worlds. Like the athleticism of the top level guys is like through the roof.
Yeah, it's
like
definitely
these guys are just as fast as anybody that's, you know, enhanced.
Well,
just as athletic.
Some of the best people at OSG went to Worlds for like natural Worlds. And me had Quinn Ramasco, Camilo Farcanolo, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And Tom Butts is doing what? He did OSG Europes and placed well, right?
He won OSG Europes.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So he's going insane. Like he's just dominating like the Europe ring right now and natural worlds ring. So I'm excited to see where he goes. And I have a feeling he's going to bump up weight classes soon. So I know I'll have to like, I'm nervous we'll see how that goes. I'll have to take him on, I think, at some point.
His press is there.
Yeah, no, even he has the numbers to go up a weight class if he wanted. And
how tall is he?
He is maybe just barely 6 foot, maybe just under.
Okay. Yeah, so he could be a 105 if he wanted to then.
He could be, and he'd be very competitive and would honestly have a good shot at winning Worlds there as well.
Nice.
So we'll see. I think once he gets to the place where he's won everything he wants to win in the 90s, I think he'll go up. And I've talked to him about it. And I think long term that is his plan.
The ultimate vegan rivalry is soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can win worlds before I have to deal with him because he is insanely fast and insanely athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Our static strength is honestly getting to a very similar level. And if he puts on some weight, he might edge me out there, but he's just so fast.
You've been staying pretty lean lately too, so that's good that you're like managing that 237. So I think you'll be what, like a lean 240 at the top end, essentially.
Yeah. And we have the holidays coming up, and I factored that in, knowing, a couple more pounds might come on during the holidays, but I really don't want to cut more than 10 pounds in water.
Yeah.
I think once I start to get 15 pounds, that's sort of the max I can do, and everything has to go right if I'm water cutting that much weight.
And it's so hard to manipulate your carbs too, right?
It can be challenging for sure. And I eat a pretty carb heavy diet as a vegan, and that's, comes into play. And I think what I realized at Worlds is like my body decides to stop shedding water. I for the first time, I actually had to sweat out a lot of water, and I normally don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of panicking and just basically ran out of time to sweat out in time. And then
I think you told me about it, but you flew twice that week. And I think that's kind of what messed you up, right?
Yeah. I flew out to Florida like the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to stop traveling before these big comps, but it keeps happening. For this comp, I'm keeping a very clear runway going into it. Because and you get away from your home gym, like you're just peaking, and then you get away and you're not at your home gym. You don't have access to your equipment, and it just throws everything off.
Well, how was your diet during that time?
Yeah, that's the other thing that happens too, is like, your diet gets completely thrown off because you're eating out, or you're just trying to buy random stuff from the grocery store, and like it's just not what you're normally used to eating.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a big factor as well. And then like your GI tract is just all thrown off going into comp, which isn't great. And I literally went to India before the Arnolds, and
just the water intake is
that that did a number on my digestive system to not get graphic, which was not ideal. But
this will
be the biggest comp I've done coming in, I think, with like recently, with a very good peak, without any travel before it. Like everything's kind of in place. So I'm pretty eager to see how I do. I'm hoping
and you were
the title.
Smart too to not do too many shows leading up to this either.
Yeah, taking a very long off season. Maybe next year. I don't know. I'm getting married next year, but maybe after that, like I have some plans going forward. Like I want to get back to the Arnold. I want to do some pro strongman league stuff. I want to make another run at Strongman Core Nationals, probably leading into the Arnold. And I really want my pro card. That's really my goal.
You're very capable of it.
Yeah, like I know it's in reach if I really, stay at this pace, keep pushing things. Like I know it's definitely in reach, and I just need to have that breakout year. And I just need to make sure it's a year I'm ready for it. And like you have to have I don't think people realize how much you have to have stable in your life and perfectly set up to get that locked in for training to do multiple big shows a year like that some of these guys do.
Most people only have two.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely realistic, most people get two really good shows and then they usually ruin it if they do more than that.
Yeah.
Especially
that's true. That's true. Yeah. But I do want to compete a little more, maybe 4 shows tops, because I am just doing 2 right now a year. But I guess I don't want to. Well, things are going well, and I know there's a high burnout rate in the sport, and mentally I'm still in it. I want to push things a bit more, I think, and see how things go from there. But the Shaw Classic, I think, is the other one I potentially have in mind that I'd like to give a go at.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good contending show for you.
Yeah.
You probably plan on doing that after you've gone through nationals and the Arnold again.
Probably, yeah. It's not a priority, but it's on my list.
Have you thought about doing a regionals so that you don't have to do as many shows?
Yeah, I've definitely thought about that. I don't know. I'd like to make another go at Strongman Nationals too and win that title. We'll see. I don't know if I can win a natural nationals title. Maybe I'll settle and just do a pro-am show or a regionals or something.
Yeah, just see what's around and what's a quicker
qualifier for the Arnolds. Yeah.
Because a pro-am might be the like I say easier, but really you never know who shows up.
It's fewer hoops you have to jump through. Because I mean that's the problem in strongman right now. Like if you want to do all the top shows and you don't have your pro card yet and haven't gotten all those invites set up, there's a lot of hoops you got to jump through. And I'm kind of there where like I'm capable of doing these bigger shows, but I still have to jump through each hoop. So I really kind of want to push through that one year.
It's one of those things where the most common sense way to progress through it without like making a mistake essentially would be, okay, you do your local show, you get an easy nationals bid, then you go to nationals, and from there that shouldn't be too hard for you to get an Arnold bid.
Yeah. But most people don't get that their first time around. So then the next year they got to go back through those hurdles, and then sometimes an injury pops up or they don't make it to nationals. Or, like there's always like everything has to go perfect.
Yeah, and I mean sometimes like you've seen it at local shows where a promoter picks the wrong weight for a class. They either make it way too heavy or way too easy or something slightly unsafe, and then somebody gets hurt. And that's all it takes to get back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm. Or like you show up and there's only one other person in your weight class and they're just like insanely good, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, so it's definitely better when there's like a large group, so there's more margin for error. I usually like that, like now with Strongman Corp, it's like you have 5 athletes in a group and the top 2 go to nationals, so that's always a good one. So
I think they have a good system going.
Yeah, and then now it's top 3 for like a 10 athlete like positioning.
Yeah, and I think it's similar with the Natural Strongman Federation. Because right now in 105s, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, close to 15, I think.
We have 10. We have 10.
Okay.
So I think if we get one more, we'll get 4 invites to Worlds. But right now, I think it's 3.
Right, and then if you get 12 plus athletes, it's 5 spots.
Okay.
That's correct.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good show. It's really cool that this is another nationals where it's like you, me, Rocky, and pretty much a few other guys from the gym going for it. So
I have a buddy from DC competing at heavyweight too, Nathaniel Hunt Kelly. So keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I'll definitely check him out.
And then, Gigi Balsamico, another vegan from my team, she'll be there as well, and under 64. So there's a lot of people I know going to this, so I'm really pumped. This will be the most people I probably know at a single strongman comp.
There's a lot of good names. I mean, you got Anthony Eckerson. He recently got his pro card as a U80. He's been to the Arnold before too. He's doing 90s, so he's gonna be in my group. Out of 105s, who are some big names that are heavy hitters right now? Joshua Lang.
Josh is a big one. Yeah, I mean he came up, so he's still kind of growing into 105s.
Mm-hmm.
He came up from 90s last year. So he comes in pretty underweight for these comps still, but like once he gets up, I mean he already is a major threat. He placed 4th at Worlds. Yeah. But like once he gets up to weight, like me and him are on like very like similar levels. So he's really like we're a good gauge for each other, I think. Mm-hmm. But I mean, between me and him, I think we're the 2 standout picks. Unless someone else proves me wrong, just based on past performance at Worlds. But sometimes there's some dark horses in here.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, like, I think there's a few guys that went to USS Nationals. Let's see. Do I know his name off the top of my head? I think it was Dalton Buckman. Was he? Anybody who's watching or listening can feel free to correct me. I think Dalton Buckman did USS Nationals or something like that. There's a few guys that did some other nationals competitions.
Okay. Like I said, I'm sure there's some other names in here.
And Cole's pretty statically strong.
Yeah.
Like, he can pick up a 400 stone. So like it's just a matter of how quickly can he adapt to these events.
Yeah, like how quick you learn technique, get the moving events down, get the overhead pressing in. Like I've done that powerlifting to strongman transition, so I know kind of what that involves. But it's been nice chatting with you about this.
Mm-hmm. I know you're busy, so you got to get moving.
I got a lot going on in my life right now. So,
mm-hmm.
But, all right, man.
Yeah, good to catch up with you, man.
Yeah, good catching up. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool.